Welcome to Mirror Domains Movie News, your place for entertainment headlines. And indeed, this is a live news show for movie fans, where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day, including what's going on with that Borderlands movie, TMNT Ronin. They're making another live-action Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie. Cool. Godzilla X Kong 2 finds its director. We'll talk about what's opening up this weekend, including doing my review for The Watchers. But we start off today's show by talking about the new Hunger Games movie that's in the works over at Lionsgate. Lionsgate announces a film adaptation and release date for the latest Hunger Games novel, Sunrise on the Reaping. So, along with the success of Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, Susan Collins announced the new prequel entry in her popular series. Yes, prequel again, huh? Yes, apparently this one's going to be about Haymitch, played by Woody Harrelson, about when he won the game and then his descent into, I guess, alcoholism or something. I don't know. Because he did win, right? And then his life kind of went off the rails. So it's a prequel again. Do you guys like this idea of it going back? Slated for November 20th, 2026. So they're going to have to pull the trigger on this one not super fast, but they got to get things going reasonably soon. Okay, so Susan Collins is a master storyteller, and our creative North Star, said Adam Fogelson, chair of Lionsgate. We couldn't be more fortunate than to be guided and trusted by a collaborator whose talent and imagination are so consistently brilliant. Okay, so just a puff piece here. We don't need to hear all of that. The second quarter. We know Hunger Games fans worldwide want an extraordinary story. Of course, everybody wants a good story. What are you talking about, dude? The second quarter quell is legendary. The second quarter quell is legendary. It looms large over the history of the games, even into the time of Katniss Everdeen a quarter century later. Like fans around the globe, we are eagerly anticipating this exciting turn to Panem. I do like the world of Panem. I think it's great. I like going back there for the Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. Thought it was really cool to get back into that world. So, does this make sense? The release of the book is going to be March 18th, 2025. Okay. So the book's not even out yet, huh? And you're already going to greenlight it. Well, does this make sense, guys? Let's take a look at some of the numbers here. Well, obviously it started off big. Catching Fire is still the top one, and then it's the second one, then Mockingjay Part 1, Mockingjay Part 2. So it started off strong. Second movie went up, and then we sort of went down in our trajectory of box office haul. And then last year, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes came out, and it never even got to the fare of what the Katniss series did, because it was a prequel, because it was about the younger President Snow. And I said when it first came out, I liked this movie. I thought I was pleasantly surprised at how well done it was. Tom Blythe there as the young President Snow did a good job, and was my first exposure to Rachel Zegler. So I liked it. Really good. Must see if you watch the other Hunger Games. Great to get the backstory. And I dug it. But as we see from the box office numbers here, well, let's see. The Ballad of Songbirds of Snakes had a $100 million budget and only made $327, taking in about, let's say, theater percentages and marketing. It probably needed to be around 250 to 300 million to break even. And it did. So, based on these numbers, though, because it's a prequel, and I gotta say, you can't have a $100 million budget for this next movie, Sunrise. You got to somehow bring it in around the 70 to 80 million dollars for it to be financially okay. Like if you push it up to 100 again, remember the trajectory is down. It's not as if you're going to make this one and then it's going to go boom. Let's go back up to 677, or Catching Fire. The number one is 864, and that had Katniss, one of my favorite actresses, Jennifer Lawrence. So I don't think you can get there having a story completely about Haymitch. It's fascinating, but you got to figure out a way to do it with a smaller budget, and I think you could deliver. I think you could deliver. I think we would be set up for that. What do you guys think about this story and the book? Are you going to read the book first? And what if the book stinks? Are you going to change course? Are you going to be a little bit like Denis Villeneuve, who says, they're not going to adapt the third Dune book because, the third Dune book is really weird, where I think people start to morph into weird alien sandworms and stuff like that. So it gets really weird, guys. I don't know. We'll talk about that story later on. But what do you guys think? New Hunger Games movie in the works. 2026, November 2026. I'll check it out because, as I said, I like the world of Pan Am. Joseph Ritchie in the live chat says, "Hey, how are you today?" Hey, good, man. I'm really good. I'm about to go out and see Bad Boys Ride or Die here in 2 hours. I see it in 2 hours, so looking forward to that. Speaking of which, let's talk about what's opening up this weekend. But before we get there, I want to formally submit my review here for The Watchers, because I went to see that last night. And am I going to be nice to it, James? Oh, please, please. Yes, I think I'll be nice to it. I'm not going to be too harsh. Maybe. I don't know. As always, this will be cut out and put up on the channel later on. Let's get into it. The Watchers is a new movie from Ashana Shyamalan, daughter of M. Night Shyamalan, and stars Dakota Fanning. And it tells the tale of a young artist getting stranded in an extensive immaculate forest in Western Ireland, where, after finding shelter, she becomes trapped alongside three strangers, stalked by mysterious creatures in the night. So if you saw the trailer, yeah, the forest is eerie, and I like that aspect of the film. It's got like this good sense of mood to start us off, and she's a conflicted character, kind of got like some demons in her closet. The cinematography jumps out at you right away. So the premise sounds good, but my main complaint about it was the execution of this story, because it's fantastical. It's like, well, how did you three get here? Would be my number one question. And the story doesn't give us that information right away. It does later on, but it's kind of like, no, that should be question number one. And I felt, as an audience member, we needed to have that information for us to buy into the believability of this world, to go along with the suspension of disbelief kind of thing, right? Okay, this is a fantastical story. Is it a creature feature? Well, if you saw the trailers for this, guys, yes, it is. Because they have got like cameras and stuff, and it's kind of like, okay, well, there's something definitely out there in the woods, right? And they've got them trapped in this room that somehow got constructed out in the middle of the woods. And it's like, okay, well, is this a little bit like The Ritual in that aspect? I thought they were going there, if you saw The Ritual on Netflix. But no, it's not like that. It's a little bit, if you liked aspects of The Village from M. Night Shyamalan, where it's like, oh, are there creatures out there in the woods? This is kind of like the movie that would be, where, yes, there are creatures in the woods kind of thing, right? Performances wise, Dakota Fanning, I think, did a good job. Like, you went along with her, but it was kind of like, you want her to be asking the interesting questions. Okay, we're stuck here. Why are we stuck here? What happens if we do open the door? Will they kill us? Why would they kill us right away? Like, you got all these questions in your head, and it's like, you get too many of those questions in your head, and it's like, I don't know if I buy this, guys. I don't know if I buy this mythos, because I'd be testing the limits of what I can and cannot do. Oh, I get hurt, so what? You know what? Those are the questions that I would have. It's like an interesting premise, no doubt about it. And it got my butt in the seat before Bad Boys Ride or Die. But overall, I was like, guys, you can just wait for the streaming on this one. So what's going to happen here is I'm going to pull up my score sheet and we'll start to fill in some preliminary numbers here for the watchers. Acting, directing, and story out of a possible 2 points each. Cinematography and score are 1 possible point. Acting, for the most part, guys, there's nothing in here that makes me go, oh wow. So it's serviceable, right down the middle there. Directing, it's got a great premise, and the cinematography, the technical aspects of this film are handled very well. But it's that story, man. The story is interesting. The story is interesting, but it just doesn't, it feels like it's lacking in some punch. Uh, and the way that the way that the story unfolds. It, it may work for some. And I would like to hear from you guys if this story worked for you. But, you know, if you are a movie fan, if you are somebody who likes suspense thrillers and mysteries and stuff like that, then you'll probably call out the same things that I did, where it's like, does that really make sense? Okay, I can roll with it if you give me a little bit more information to go along with it, right? Kind of. And it's like, it doesn't. So right there, I'm going to have to go right down the middle for that. Cinematography, though, I'm going to give a full point. Because, as I said in the opening, they do a great job of photographing the Irish countryside and stuff like that. And you buy that she's going into the woods there and stuff and all of that. The woods is beautifully photographed, especially how dark it is at times. It does a great job of setting the mood. The score, there's no theme in there that makes me go, oh, I can't remember. It served the movie. It's not like the If movie with Ryan Reynolds where they have that one reoccurring theme where it's like, oh, okay, I'm hearing this. I'm hearing this. It's not like that shark movie that we watched yesterday, Under Paris, where you notice the soundtrack in that. It served the movie. So right now we're sitting at 4.5. Let's go over the tomato meter and see if we can bust up this number a little bit. See if we can move it up a little bit. What are people saying about the watchers over on Rotten Tomatoes? Oh, 29% by critics, 62 reviews. That's not good. Let me just hit the refresh button here, see if we got some audience scores coming in. I'm guessing, well, as you see, it's not as high for, I'm higher than what the tomato meter is. I'm guessing that's going to have to do with that pacing of the story, perhaps, because it gets really outlandish towards the end. And if they had set it up differently and to pay us off, then it just needed an edit or something. Let's go take a look at some of these critics, see if there's anybody in here that we trust. Globe and Mail, Shyamalan 2.0 is shaping up to be an elegant filmmaker whose storytelling could use more torque. Images like Fanning's golden locks disappearing into the cold gray fog or reflections, layered upon reflections, caught my eye, if not my breath. World liked it. The movie is very Shyamalan-esque. That it is. You could tell that she's definitely got influences from her father. Beautiful, yet brooding, with plenty of close-ups, with a setup that leaves the audience guessing about what's going on. And as I said, I have no problem with that, but we just needed a bit more information for us to buy it. It's kind of like, yeah, it's audacious at times where you're not going to ask that question. You're not going to ask that question. It's like, yeah, like, I'm in danger. Well, how much danger? It's like, no, well, yeah, those kinds of questions. In the Watchers, Shauna Shauna Night Shyamalan lives up to the family name, but before becoming just another Nepo baby, the filmmaker achieves a rare gem of a sinister beauty that ranges from paranoia to heightened terror. Okay, so let me just pause here quickly because I want to address this. They were trying to go for the angle of paranoia. Of do I believe what these other people are saying in here? Are we truly locked in here? Like I felt like yes, at times we were trying to go for the tone of like the thing. We don't know who the thing is, or like we don't know if we can trust each other here in this place. Um, because are you actually trying to keep us here, kind of thing, or are you trying to really help us, kind of thing? They were going for that kind of a mystery, and it just didn't land. Um, it does take some interesting swings and misses with these characters, though, but it takes too long to get there at the end. And then at one point during the film, because it is creature feature, like and the trees and stuff have like marks, and they put like rune marks on there. For a brief second, I thought this was going to be a follow up to what was that Shyamalan movie that he did with Bryce Dallas Howard? Yeah, what about the water nymph? That one. I thought they were going to go there, and let me just see if I can pull up the that's Howard. Milan. What was that movie called? The no, not the village. Lady in the Water. You know that one with the nymph in the water kind of thing. Um, I thought they were going to go there because you remember when you went down into her lair and there was like these ruins all over the place and stuff like that. Well, it's sort of like that, but it's on the trees. So I thought it was going to be like a, if not a direct sequel, a spiritual sequel. Like I thought it was going there for a little bit, and luckily it didn't. It kind of did create its own mythos. I just want to see if there's anybody else here in the critics that I recognize that's worthy, like a Matt Donato or somebody, Nick Rogers. Peter Howell, Toronto Star. What I will say is that the movie can be appreciated even if we expect the rug will be pulled out from under us. The appreciation is more for the film's sinister look and mood than its story, which can be charitably described as an interesting mess. So even he concedes that the story becomes a bit of a mess, and that's what you're sort of getting here, right? Collectively, that people are like, eh. Michael Phillips liked it. The director works well with cinematographer Eli Arneson to envelop a chamber-sized ensemble in various shades of dread and comfort. Yeah, all right. Bibbiani didn't like it. William Bibbiani. The Watchers isn't very scary. No, it's not a scary film. It's not. And it's only interesting for as long as it's an intellectual curiosity. And it's not intellectually curiosity for the full 120 minutes runtime. So he's complaining about the runtime there. Yeah, so I'm not seeing Donato. That's okay. You guys are getting the impression here. So I'm not as low as what did they say here? 24%, 27%. It's not that bad, but I would say wait for it on streaming. That's my number one recommendation. If you're curious, if you're just like me, you're a genre fan, you like weird abstract stories about creatures in the woods, then go check it out. But if you are one of those fans, then you're gonna be like me and say, well, there's been better iterations of this kind of thing done before, and you wish that they'd amplified up certain themes a little bit sooner than getting to it in the third act, kind of thing. All right, let's wrap up my score here, and that'll be it for The Watchers. I didn't hate my experience. Don't get me wrong with that. I didn't. It's not one of the worst movies of the year or anything like that. So the watchability factor, yeah, I articulated. If you are a genre fan, if you're curious about if the daughter of M. Night Shyamalan can deliver some mystery and stuff like that, you'll want to check it out. 5.5. Is that good? Like, would I go back and watch this again? Like I do The Ritual? No. Um, But I do feel like 5.5 is a bit low. I want to bump it up somewhere, and I don't know where exactly. Could I give it to the score? Should I give the score? Dakota Johnson, or so Dakota Fanning was good, and some of the ensemble there. Maybe that's where I'll give it. I'll give 1.5 for the acting. Directing one, story one, cinematography, yeah, one. That's about right. 6 out of 10. And I feel good about that. 6 out of 10 for The Watchers, guys. Are you gonna go out and see it? And if you did, let me know what you liked and what you didn't about it. And we'll talk about it in the comments below. All right. If you like this kind of thing, guys, we talk about movies here all the time here on Mirror Domains. In fact, we talk about like that new Superman suit and trailer reactions for Alien Romulus. Oh yeah, that was cool. We got the movie review for there. We did a full movie reaction for Under Paris and Jennifer Lopez's Atlas movie. We do movie reviews for Furiosa, series reactions for Fallout and the Acolyte, which I need to put that up there, guys. Yeah, and then we do movie news throughout the week where we talk about all the trending movie news headlines of the day. And we publish a lot of shorts and stuff. So new movies, you like to hear about new content, about like what's coming out and stuff like that, come join us here on Mirror Domains. All right, so that'll be cut out and put up on the channel later on. It's a bummer because it felt like if the movie did a few things differently and gave us a little bit more information sooner, then I think it would have worked better in the third act where it's like, oh, okay, I kind of like this. This reveal actually works for me instead of coming out of the blue kind of thing. And there's a point in the third act where you're like, oh, that should be the end of the movie, right? Right? And then it goes on for like another 15 minutes, and it's like, ooh, ooh, oh, this is going down some weird tangents here. Uh, we could have, I could have gone along with it more if you gave me more to chew on earlier on. But it is what it is. It's not a bad start for Shauna Shyamalan. Makes me curious to see some of her work for sure. And she'll get another chance. There again, my camera reset. I don't know why it's doing that. I got a new cable, guys, so don't worry. It's coming on Monday, hopefully. My power cable is intermittent or something, and I don't know what it is. We've had a weird power surge thing here going on for the last couple of days. Like this morning, the power blinked for like a couple minutes at like 6 o'clock in the morning, and it's wreaked havoc. Or maybe I need to replace my power bar. Worth a shot. All right. You guys don't want to hear about that. What's opening up this weekend? Let's talk about that. Opening this week at the theaters, we've got The Watchers. Yes, from Ashana Shyamalan. And we've got Bad Boys, Ride or Die. And can Bad Boys jumpstart Will Smith's comeback? I think it can. And I think it will. Because, yes, it's been years now since the whole fiasco at the Oscars. He served his time into the penalty box, and I'm ready to see him come back to the big screen. And you've got your choices, Ride or Die or The Watchers. And I think for the most part, a lot of people are going to go see Bad Boys Ride or Die. So, that's what's opening up here. And I'll be seeing it at 1:20 here at my theater. But then you got The Watchers, Mad Max Furiosa still playing, Garfield still playing, Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes is still going. Whatever Haiku, the dumpster battle is, If movie's still playing. Oh yes, the Lord of the Rings Fellowship Extended Edition. This is the weekend where they're doing all three of them, right, as extended series. The extended editions of Lord of the Rings are playing. So if you want to go check that out, you can go check that out. Is that all that's playing here? You got Munia. bunch of foreign films. And then if you are lucky enough, if your version of Netflix has it, the Canadian version of Netflix does not have Hitman for some reason. I don't understand. The Glenn Powell, Adria Arjona actioner rom-com, which has gotten great buzz. I want to see it mostly because of Adria Arjona. She's from she played Bix, right, on Andor, so that's why I want to see that. And I got nothing against Glenn Powell. Ooh, Roxy Rivera. Rivera? Hmm, interesting. Anyway, those are your choices. Let's go and see what people are saying. Bad Boys, Ride or Die, 66% by critics, 97% by the audience, and that's what I predicted. I predicted like the audience. This is a Bad Boys is it's a popcorn flick, guys. It's one of those movies where you just go in, turn off your brain, and just go along with the ride. I'm that's what I'm expecting. I don't think I'm expecting Shakespeare or anything. I really like the last one. I like the Bad Boys Forever or whatever it was called. um, I thought it had a lot of heart, and this one, what is the runtime for this? 155 minutes. It's just under 2 hours. It's a bit long for a Bad Boys movie. Snapshot reviews. The audience says that this movie was going back, all the action and comedy. So it's just fans of the franchise, fans of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence. But the critics, they don't like it. The fourth round of Will Smith and Martin Lawrence isn't a bad movie, really. Just another mediocrity trying to cash in on what it came before. Okay, ABC News. Just another mediocrity? There are a few surprises with Bad Boys Ride or Die. You know what you're signed up to, and it's more of what you're going to get. Okay. Yeah, this is the kind of film where you don't really need critics. This is probably critic immune. So, do I need to go into a full length review for it? Probably not. You're probably only going to get my straight out of the theater reaction for this one, which we will put up later on today when I come home and edit it. Edit it. Edit it. Edit it. Say that quickly. Edited it. Edited it. Edited it. Edited it. The Watchers is out as well. And I just posted my review for that. Um, the twist. The film is more promising than good. It's got a great, fantastic idea of people being stuck out in this weird kind of camp cabin out in the woods, and there's these weird creatures that come around at night to watch them for some mysterious reason that does get revealed. It has, you know, this is actually the soundtrack that let this movie down, I think. Because when I did my review, I said the soundtrack didn't really do anything. It was serviceable. But we just watched that shark movie Under Paris, and the soundtrack really helped that movie. There were points in that movie, uh, Under Paris, where I was like, this soundtrack has no business being as good as it is, because it caught my eye a couple of times. And if you haven't watched Under Paris, it's a shark movie where they're in the river and they attack a bunch of swimmers and stuff like that. It's a bit silly and it's got a weird ending. But there's a couple times in that where the soundtrack was like, oh, it actually helped punch up some of what they were trying to sell us. So it was easier for us to consume. I wish the Watchers had done that, where maybe they got a different composer, or the composer maybe was competent, but it was what the director wanted for the scene. and they didn't want to go down a traditional wink, wink, wink kind of like strings soundtrack, but you could have figured out something else different. I would have brought on like maybe try to bring on like a Trent Reznor, Atticus Ross to punch up this soundtrack, because this one, it would have definitely added to the mood and eeriness of what they were going for, and it just didn't land. So those are your choices, guys. What is the tomato score for the Watchers? 27%. So you got 27% for the Watchers, 66 for the Bad Boys, 97 by the audience. So I think most people will go see Ride or Die this weekend. And if you're lucky enough, you get to go see the Hitman movie with Glenn Powell on your Netflix. I checked it again this morning, guys, and I'm just bummed, man. I'm really bummed because it should be here. See, Hitman, 2 words. It's not there. I'm bummed. Because I've been hearing good things about that Hitman movie. So if you're in the States or the UK or somewhere else that has it, I'd say check it out. Okay. So that's what's opening up this weekend. Let's continue on. Godzilla X Kong gets a new director. Who is it? Yes, we got the story the other day that Adam Wingard was not returning. So we've got Grant Sputore coming in. He did the Hilary Swank movie, I Am Mother. That can't be his only claim to fame. You're handing him a project that you want to have bring home a $500 million return. He better have a good resume, right? Let's go over to and take a look. Grant Sputore. He's done 3 projects. In fact, he's done only 1 movie, guys. He's only done 1 movie, and you're going to give this guy a tentpole franchise movie. What are you doing? Seriously. I don't understand this. But James, they gave Gareth Edwards the movie, and he only done, but he had done, his resume was a little bit more. This gives me a little bit of a pause. This is like one of those things that reeks of like, well, he's an up-and-coming director. The thing with Godzilla X Kong and the whole franchise together is that Adam Wingard found a nice balance, a nice mix of the humor and the monsters working together to mitigate our, the stuff we didn't like about the human stories from that universe, right? He balanced it out fairly well, and I actually really like Godzilla X Kong. He still had to put in the human stuff in there, and you could tell like, oh, the humans, they've got like a mother-daughter bond and stuff like that, and she's got to say goodbye. But like that was so minimal. It's the most of it was like King Kong trying to find others like him, right? And then the big throwdown at the end, it was cool. I dug it. And you're going to hand it over to a guy that's only done 1 other film. 1. So I don't know if you guys are with me on this when I say I'm a little bit hesitant. I'm just not seeing it. But if he can get that mix, it's all about that mix of and if he can't, then it's going to go straight down to the crapper. It's going to be like this because this franchise was already dancing that line of going off the rails. That's what I mean by that's how good Adam Wingard was dancing that tightrope line, right? But we had Godzilla -1 last year. That was awesome. Godzilla X Kong, like in the last 6 months, yeah, we've had 2 really good Godzilla movies, but of different flavors. I just don't want to go back to the cheesiness, right? And I don't want to go back to the Millie Bobby Brown human-esque storylines. Keep it more to the monsters. We don't need to hear about somebody having a family issues being caught between them, big monsters fighting with each other. We don't need to hear that anymore. Because you know what? Kingdom of the Planet of the Apes proved that you can have a movie with just the monsters or the creatures themselves. You could do that and still have it fly, still have it work. Because I like all the aspects of Godzilla X Kong, where it was just him going through the Hollow Earth, looking for people and finding the other apes, and then of course having his first battle with Scar King and stuff like that. That all that worked out great for me. So we'll have to see. Grant Spatore. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that name. I'm just I wish we had more. Like he hasn't really done that much. How did you land this job? It's like hiring the guy, like if you just started at McDonald's, you're working the fryer. Oh, by the way, tomorrow we want you to start opening up the store and now you got to manage everybody's schedules. You're taking over the big show. What? Does that make sense? Grant, does it? Kudos for getting the job, but I don't know. We'll have to see. Maybe I'm being a little over dramatic. But it's because we've been burned before, haven't we? As fans, we've been burned before, and that's my hesitation. TMNT Ronin, live action. TMNT, The Last Ronin. Sorry, The Last Ronin. Writer wants original April O'Neil to star in the R-rated adaptation. Well, that's cool. Tom Waltz hopes that Judith Hoag will return as April O'Neil in the upcoming R-rated TMNT Last Ronin. So if you don't know what The Last Ronin is that I think it's mostly, I've heard that at times it could be it could be it's mostly Raphael that becomes the Last Ronin, right? Or no, it was Mikey, wasn't it at first? Like all the other turtles die and he becomes like the Last Ronin and becomes consumed with vengeance. I think that's the original story. And I thought it was Mikey. And it was such a drastic shift in tone that people were like, well, it seems a little like that would be more like what Raphael would do. I think that's what it was. But Judith Hoag, I think that would be awesome to kind of bring that around full circle. She was in a small cameo in the second Turtles movie, the Michael Bay Turtles movies, but they cut her from the scenes. They cut her out for some reason. She's still acting, and she still is fairly active. I follow her on YouTube. I think every now and then she'll post like wellness videos. She does a lot of those self improvement kind of like talks and stuff, where it's like, where are you at spiritually and stuff, and that kind of stuff. She's cool. I dig her, and I'd see her back in this. Why not? Because it's about an older turtle dealing with strife. Yeah. So the TMNT franchise contributions over the years have included various video games and comics, including The Last Ronin and Last Ronin 2 Re-Evolution. Declared his hopes to come back for his longtime fans. For much of the Turtles audience, Judith Hoag's portrayal of April had a formidable impact on their attachment to the series. Yeah, that first live-action TMNT was awesome. My dream is that the lovely, talented Judith Hoag will be part of something we do in other media for The Last Ronin. Battled, ravaged New York City. So, like, yeah, I think this is after Krang ravaged it with Mausers or something like that, too. So, yeah, the synopsis of The Last Ronin. Who is the Last Ronin? In the future, battle-ravaged New York City, a lone surviving turtle embarks on a seemingly hopeless mission seeking justice for the family he lost. From legendary TMNT co-creators Eastman and Liard, get ready for the final story of the TMNT 3 decades in the making. So this is going to be live action, guys. No director or cast members have been announced, but they've got the writer for it. And I think I've always wanted this. I've always wanted a more, why can't we have a more serious tone of Turtles? Like, that's why the 90s version works so well, because it was that mix of, okay, yeah, they're turtles and it's meant for kids and it has got some kid style stuff in it. But then when you get into the more like the Danny um, story of him being caught up with the Shredder's Foot Clan stuff and the fatherly kind of themes throughout that, it was actually fairly serious in tone, really serious. And that's what appealed to the older audiences. So if they could come back to that, well, I think it would make money. Now, I'm not saying it would be $1 billion film, but it would, like, there's ways to do it where you can make fan bases, the original fan bases, happy and still build on it. Instead of saying we want this audience over here, we don't care about the original fan base anymore because there appears to be more people over there. It's like, well, why would you do that, right? I never understood. Like Star Wars did that. I just don't. I don't get it. And if you were able to get somebody like Judith Hoag back, that would be awesome. That would be awesome. Let's see if I can pull up a one of her videos just to see. You can see what she looks like now. Like, and she's aged gracefully. So this is her. Of course, my video washes it out a little bit, but uh, yeah, she's aged very well. And she does like these little help talk things. Goddess of Fire, and then she always talks turtles. She always she's very on board with like going to the conventions and stuff and talking with fans. She did an awesome job, so that'd be cool. It would be cool if it could happen, man. I don't know why we can't. I don't know why we always have to start off fresh with these things. It's like, why? We've got established things to hear that would make the original fan base happy. Now build on that. Okay, you want that audience over there, that then we build towards that. We just don't start off with that by cutting off everybody else. Anyway, we'll have to see how that goes. I'm going on a rant and going off topic, so we don't need to hear about that. Next. Is that what the Borderlands movie did, though? New Borderlands character posters welcome Moxie Crom, Commander Knox, and more to Pandora. Now, Gina Gershon as Moxie. Yeah, I forgot she was in this. Borderlands. Robert Lee as Larry. David Richards as Crom. Edgar Ramirez as Atlas. Janina Gravankar as Commander Knox. People complained about the Borderlands movie because Kevin Hart's character is supposed to be like this big hulking dude, and you got a guy that's like 5'2" playing him. Talking like that kind of stuff. That's where this is exactly what I'm talking about with Turtles as well. Why? Why would you do that? Why would you say we're going to cut off the fan base here because there are Kevin Hart fans and we want Kevin Hart fans in this? But it's frustrating as fans, right? Well, we don't know the whole vision of it yet. Well, I'm fairly confident in saying that I think Badlands or Borderlands is going to be it's going to be a bomb. It's not going to land because you've already, as I said, the Kevin Hart character is supposed to be a big hulking guy, like, and he's not, and it sucks because you got like the great cast in here. Uh, yeah, there's Edgar Ramirez, Kate Blanchett, Ariana Greenblatt, and I think Eli Roth is gonna I think this, remember what we were talking about with Godzilla X Kong about it being campy and crossing that line where it's just ridiculous? This looks like it's crossed that line, is going to be really ridiculous. And it has to land like it's like Zombieland tried to do that, right? But Zombieland did it successfully of riding that line of being campy, but not too campy. But then, okay, I kind of like what I'm seeing here. I hope that's what Borderlands is. Do you guys like the character posters for the bad guys? Crom and Knox. Like, do you want to put this poster of Bobby Lee on your post on that poster up on your wall? No. Mask design looks kind of interesting for Crom. Atlas. They're just character posters, James. August 9th. It's gonna be a rough summer for the box office. It really is. Deadpool and Wolverine will be fine. Inside Out 2 will be fine. Um, Again, there's my power again. What's going on? Maybe it is or maybe it is my power bar, my surge protector. But yeah, those movies will be fine. Well, anyway, I'm losing steam here. Where are we at? 48 minutes. Let's get through some of the rest of these stories. Star of Acre trailer. Matt Smith, Morvith Clark, supernatural horror film gets July release. Star of Acre. So, this is a movie with Matt Smith from House of the Dragon, which will be starting up full live watch alongs here again soon in the month of June. And has Morvith Clark, who played our Galadriel in The Rings of Power. And what I liked about this trailer, if you haven't seen it, it's a take on a folk horror genre. I think they're in Ireland somewhere. And she starts to lose it. Erin Richards is in this. She was on Gotham. Uh, Very good actress as well. And she starts to lose it, and she's like, "Well, can you help her?" Uh, and then it's like, "Well, is she seeing things or isn't she?" And uh, Matt Smith being in this, I thought it was cool. BAFTA nominee Morvith Clark. Looks like it's spicy at times too, huh? Starvaker. Yeah, I'm not playing the sound because of the copyright stuff, so I don't know if I'll probably get a slap on the wrist for that yet or not. But yeah, when their son starts acting strangely, a couple unwittingly allow dark and sinister forces into their home, awakening a long dormant ancient evil rooted deep in the countryside. The Doctor. This looks confusing. I wonder if it will be bait and switch. He was crazy just all along, kind of thing. Oh, yeah, maybe. I don't know. But I like the production design. I like the cast. So that's why I'm looking at this. Kind of like a take on. I was getting like a little bit of Pet Cemetery vibes from it as well, but like there's no soiled land or anything. But yeah, something weird's happening. Starvaker. Curious. Terminator Series is coming out soon. Terminator Zero. Timothy Oliphant provides the voice of the Terminator in the Netflix anime series. Yeah, the Netflix series that's supposed to be coming out for a while now. It's been on that Netflix page, August 29th. So Timothy Oliphant, Scream 2 provides the voice of the Terminator. Anime. Do you guys like anime? This has been splashed over a couple of pages, so I pulled this story. The synopsis reads 2022, a future war has raged for decades between the few human survivors and an endless army of machines. 1997, the AI known as Skynet gained self-awareness and began a war against humanity. Well, we know that. So it's about the future war. Okay. Caught between the future and his past is a soldier sent back in time to change the fate of humanity. She arrives in 1997 to protect a scientist named Malcolm Lee, who works to launch a new AI system designed to complete the Skynet's impending attack on humanity. As Malcolm navigates the moral complexities of his creations, he is hunted by an unrelenting assassin from the future, which forever alters the fate of his 3 children. So it's not dealing with John or Sarah Connor. That's okay. And it doesn't look like it's going to be a T model, what is it, 101? The Arnold version. Looks like it's going to be a different model. That's fine too. Terminator's got so much going on for it. We always seem to go back to this well though of a Terminator sent back in time to kill somebody. Why? Guys, the universe establishes already so much more. Time travel. Yeah, AI is scary, but time travel opens up a big box. Like, you can only send people back. Has anybody gone forward? Why not? So there's a lot there that could be a lot more scarier. They just haven't done it because they want to go back to this well of, oh no, there's a Terminator sent back in time to kill someone, a scientist or Sarah or John or his granduncle or something like that. What the heck is going on? I don't know. All right. The Acolyte. Let's talk about that. The Acolyte ignites its debut on Disney Plus with 4.8 million views on its first day. Really, 4.8 million views. Is that good? It's mediocre, guys. 4.8 million. Its biggest premiere of the year is on track to overtake Ahsoka's performance, generating 14 million views on its first 5 days. People are going to be tuning in because it's Star Wars. You still have the luxury of the brand Star Wars. But if you continue, you're like, the brand is degrading. And it's going to come to a time where people are tuning out and say, well, Star Wars hasn't been that good. I'll wait till it's all done and then I'll binge it. And I'll binge it with my fast forward button. I'll binge it so that I can fast forward. And that's what's going to happen. The Saul character is interesting. Daphne Keane is okay. You like her because it's Daphne Keane. You don't like it. You don't quite like her character just yet. And this guy, get him out of here. Cut him out. But it's not being well received. And I don't like how Rotten Tomatoes has conspired with Disney to limit people's reactions on it. Acolyte. 26 by the audience. And actually the film critics, the critics was much lower when it first started. It was like around 50%. And then they stopped, they cut off the critic reviews. Like normally around here, there's a block of like snapshot reviews that we can look at. They cut that out. Probably because Disney asked them to, which they shouldn't be allowed to do. Because if you want your tool to be consistent, like you want the tool of Rotten Tomatoes to be consistent, you can't acquiesce to studio demands. And they'd be like, well, you're damaging our product then. Well, then don't create bad product. 91%. So I this is where I'm like, I call, and it's an interesting take because critics are like 91%, I don't buy it. 26 by the audience, okay, I buy that. There's my camera again. What? Guys, we watched an entire movie and didn't do this at all. It's like, not even, what is this? Weird. All right, guys, I'm having technical issues. And I'm losing my train of thought. Yeah, and I am aware, I'm aware that this was hate fueled before, that people hated the Acolyte even before it came out. I'm aware of that crowd. The haters. There's a whole YouTube culture that is like, they watch the trailers for it and they're like, oh, I hate this. I don't like this. Are they suggesting that this might have some woke agenda to it? And if they see just a little hint of it, they're like, no, it's woke, I don't hate it, I hate it. And then they watch it anyway. I don't understand that. If you're not doing it for reviews or anything like that, then why would you watch it? Like that seems sadistic, masochistic. And then yeah, as I said, there's the YouTubers out there that use this kind of a thing as, well, people hate it, so I'm going to give them what they want. They hate things, so I'm going to fuel that. I make a whole bunch of videos saying, oh, I hate what I've been hearing about it. I hate what the trailers have been showing me. I hate watching the first 2 episodes. It's trash. It's garbage. Because you're just giving people a confirmation bias. Because they want to hate it. They just want to hate. They want things to fail until I don't know when. I don't know when that end game. What is the end game for all the haters? I don't know what the end game is. Because if they came out and made a really good Star Wars movie, they would still probably find something to hate about it. It'd be like something minor, like a computer having like 3 default like voices you can choose from, and they'll say, well, no, now it's a woke agenda. It's like, it's a computer picking 3 default voices between men and women. What do you like? And it has no bearing on the rest of the story. What are you talking about? It being woke. I'm looking at you haters of the Atlas movie. Anyway, I don't understand it, but there is that group out there, and I don't think I thought at times that maybe I could grow this channel by supplying that demand for people to hate stuff, but that's not me, and I don't want that to be me. I don't want that audience, because that's all they expect. So they'll come to movies. Everything that I do on the channel will be this, like, oh, I want to hear you hate something. I want to hear you hate. I want to hear you like, but that's not what we do here on this channel. We talk about movies. We talk about things that we like, even if the movie's not all that great, like Under Paris. That never comes into the conversation at all. And that had a lead female in it. And the other males in that movie were not stupid. Adama, Adil, good characters. So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, people just inject their own passions into stuff at times, and it gets frustrating. The Acolyte will go down in viewership because I called it out in my reactions to it. Story wise, it suffered a little bit from what I was saying about the Watchers, where it's kind of like they're not giving us enough information to go along with it. Yeah, we understand that it's kind of like it's not a who done it. It's a why did they do it story, right? A why done it, and you got to give us some information. If you were to complain that it was sold to you as a Sith centric story or a bad side force story, yes, that's what the log line was supposed to be. But it's been mostly been about the Jedi for the first two episodes, and those complaints are valid. So I'll just see. I don't know. All right, guys, we're running over time, and I don't know what's going on with my camera. I'm actually really kind of upset with it because I know it's not the camera. It's a $700 camera. I was going to go into Squid Games topping the first season. Or I was going to talk more about that Denis Villeneuve book, but we've already covered an hour, and these are just hit or miss. Alamo Drafthouse is closing 6 theaters in Texas and Minnesota after the franchisee declares bankruptcy. So some theaters in the States are starting to go under because attendance is not good. So I'm booked at the 1 o'clock show for Bad Boys in the AVX theater. And there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There's only 7 people in an hour and 20 minutes from now. There's only 7 people booked right now. Now there's always the crowds that show up when it starts, but it's kind of like movies aren't filling out, man. Like Deadpool and Wolverine. Okay, so the 7 o'clock show is a little bit more filled out. This is a nice theater here. This AVX theater down at Kitchener. It's got comfortable seats. I saw the creator there. I think it was the last movie I saw in that theater because I've got an AVX theater up near where I live. It's just due to, for some reason they're not doing any 1 o'clock shows, so I'm gonna go see the 1 o'clock show here. Maybe I'll some nachos. Ooh, yeah. See if there's anything breaking. Lady in the Lake. New look at Maxine. Yeah, that trailer dropped. Glenn Powell. Grant Spatore. Linklater Hitman. This is the movie I would like to see. But it's June 7th, man. It's not out, at least on the Canadian Netflix. First chapter of The Strangers is out on VOD. Don't waste your money, guys. Wait till it's on Netflix or Hulu or something. Don't wait. Don't spend $30 paying for this tripe. In fact, they released the first image yesterday of chapter 2, and it's like, not interested. Ariana Grande confirms she will star in her new music video. Oh, of course she will. Oh, Ben Bagley? I don't know who that is. House of the Dragon Season 2 debuts with 89%. Cool. Looking forward to that. Oh, yeah, this is the one I'm talking about. This is the first image from Strangers, Chapter 2. It's, I even responded to it. Whoops. How do you pull up the comments section? Yeah, this is what I said. I said, meh. Part 1 was a disaster, but that means we can only go up from here, right? Absolutely not sitting through that again. I'll wait for a streaming service to pick it up. We do not need this. I'm already invested in this trilogy. I don't need to know. What? So there are people out there who are insane. You just call some horror fans and say, well, it's madness. If you were somebody who watched Strangers Chapter 1, then you probably, then yes, then I'm going to have to guess that you've never watched horror movies before, that you are not a genre fan, because it would have to have been your first exposure to anything in that realm. Otherwise, you would have, if you were, you would be like, well, that's just recycled from other stuff. This is just a remake of the first movie. What are you doing here? Yes, that would have been you, but there are people out there that are apparently all on board with this. Probably somebody who worked on the film. I don't know. Part one was terrible. That movie peed me off more than any other movie. Yeah. All right, guys. I got to figure out what's going on with my camera. I'm somebody choking. Yeah. Well, it is Friday, guys. Go and see a movie. What are you going to go see? Are you going to go see The Watchers, or are you going to go see Bad Boys Ride or Die? Let me know in the comments below and we will talk about it. Hit that thumbs up button and I'll see you next time on Monday for more movie news. Maybe you'll see shorts throughout the weekend anyway.